And hello, I'm Joe Spina, and welcome to Life on the Fast Lane with Avram Lapidus and yours truly. Avram, how you doing, big guy?
I'm all right. I'm all
Are
right.
you sure?
I'm okay.
Well, tell me, what's happening over there in your ancestral homeland? Hamas is sending rockets left and right, and there are folks in the U.S. Congress who aren't very sympathetic to the plight of the Israelis.
That's nothing unusual. That's nothing unusual. But at the same time, I really think that like every 10 years, we have to go to war with them and really cause them trouble. And I think it's going to happen very soon.
Well, let me ask you something. Since Donald Trump has left the presidency, a lot of what had been hot spots in the past are really heating up. For example,
Well, a hot spot becomes burning like fire.
Yes.
A small little ember can really knock a house down, you know?
Exactly. But what bothers me is that during the Trump administration, he was very sympathetic toward Israel, was he not? He's a supporter of Israel.
Look, they moved the embassy to Jerusalem. They've been talking about that for the last 30 years. No one ever did it. He did it, which is why it will go down in history as a great friend of Israel. There's no question about it. But at the same time, Hamas thinks now because there's a new administration, they can pull all this nonsense. And basically speaking, they're not completely wrong, but hear me out. Israel has more firepower than this country. Israel could go to war against America and they could win. Okay. I'm telling you right now, we need this because we need to put them down. We need to settle it.
The issue in the Middle East.
No one's going to settle.
Let me ask you this.
No one's going to solve the problem of the Jewish people, but the Jewish people. Okay.
Well, yes, I can understand that. But the point, and I'm not quite sure I agree with you on that one. I applaud the Jewish people and the Israelis for sticking up for their survival, like anybody would.
They got no choice.
I agree. But a little help from your friends would be a nice thing.
What friends?
Well, we should be, shouldn't we?
What friends?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Did not Donald Trump, along with Jared Kushner and Mike Pompeo, they put together one hell of a deal with a lot of Arab states, and that settled some frayed feelings in that area? I mean, got some Arab states to join up.
Arab states. Okay. Say one thing and do something else. Okay. You can trust them as far as you can throw them.
That's right. But at least he kept the temperature down. And all of a sudden, now let me ask you this. John Kerry was Secretary of State. Who? John Kerry.
Oh, what do you mention this guy's name?
Because he is emboldening Iran, which is the number one problem for Israel in that region. That's
it's
the
number one problem for everybody.
And why is he emboldening them?
Because he's an idiot.
Well, why did Biden put him in charge of whatever? He's the czar of this, the czar of that.
Because like good-looking people hang out with good-looking people. Stupid people hang out with stupid people. Okay,
that's a great point. The other thing that troubles me, and you've been around a little bit, and plus, folks, this guy is a graduate of Harvard Business School. I'm not so sure I like Harvard anymore, but I like you, and I know that you know business. Does anybody realize how significant the fact that Colonial Pipeline got shut down by, cyber attack? What does that all mean to us? 45% of the fuel that comes into the Northeast comes from that pipeline that's no longer operating. What's that all mean?
I think it's almost 90%.
Really? You think it's that high?
It's way the hell up.
Well,
oh, yeah.
Tell the folks what that means.
They don't want to say that publicly because then they'll really come after us. Okay, but hear me out for a second. These people cannot go to war with America like a common everyday war with guns and bullets. The only way they can cause us trouble is the way they're causing us trouble is they're hacking into us, okay? And they're doing a very good job. But the day will come when this will stop too. At the same time, it's very dangerous. There's no safe spots anywhere in the world anymore.
That's true. But what is the impact of that pipeline being shut down? Can you project what that's going to do to our economy?
Well,
first
of all, the first thing is the price of gas is going to go through the damn roof.
Now, the price of gas is also going to absolutely affect the price of commodities and goods, correct?
And you see the stock market today is down 400 something points.
Okay,
Okay,
now here is what these folks don't seem to, must get to understand. This is the problem that I find when I'm trying to talk to people in a rational way that don't like Trump and think Biden's the second coming of Jesus. Economics, anybody that studies a little bit of economics must understand that when he says that there will not be a tax on anybody earning less than $400,000, that is the biggest lie of all time, because inflation, which is the most insidious of all taxes, is about to happen with his policies. Would you agree?
it's already happened.
I know it's already happened. I went to buy myself a lobster roll. Now, I don't like lobster that much, but every once in a while I go get a lobster roll.
Why are you telling me you, of all people, you just bought a lobster roll?
Why, you like lobster rolls?
I can't eat it, okay? You know I can't eat it, but
That's because it's not kosher.
that's why you bought it.
No, actually, I bought it and it was $6.99.
Where'd you buy it?
Shaw's.
And you wonder why you're like this?
How I got fat, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not gonna be fat much longer. You know why?
Why?
Because that same lobster roll is now $9.99. That's already happened. I went shopping today to get a few things and I could not believe how much they've gone up already in a week or a month.
McDonald's used to be a safety net for poor people. Poor people could dine out at McDonald's. When you went into McDonald's, you actually saw a family,
Yeah,
okay?
without breaking the bank.
You don't see them anymore.
You know why?
They can't afford McDonald's.
Exactly. A cheeseburger and a fry at McDonald's is $7, $8 now.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Really? Oh my God.
I
Wow,
think, you
wow.
know,
Well,
if you get one of those elaborate ones.
please, whatever. That's simply
But
amazing.
the point is that inflation is going to do a number on you, me, and anybody out there that happens to be on a fixed income.
Oh, the worst thing, the worst disease in the world is a fixed income.
The worst.
I-
And inflation hits us worse than anything else. Now, explain to me who were the genius, the brain trust, the academics that Biden brought into the administration to divine the idea that shutting down the pipeline from Canada there was a good idea. Keystone Pipeline.
You know, that woman who was the governor of Rhode Island,
Yeah, what about him?
she's now the Secretary of Energy. How the hell did she get that job? What the hell does she know about energy?
She doesn't. But the entire Biden administration is laden with individuals who never had a job in
And
their
not
life,
only that,
know nothing about business.
all their economic, listen, I'm what you call a polite racist.
Okay, you've been saying
What's-
that forever and a
What's a
day.
polite racist? A polite racist means that I don't like him, but I'm not gonna go down with the street and chase with a baseball bat. That's a polite racist,
Okay,
okay?
so what are you trying to
He
say?
has all these economic policies being done by black people who are in over their head.
Well, forget about that part.
No,
I'm
don't
talking-
forget about that
No, I'm
part.
talking about the academics who are in the administration that come from Harvard, the Ivy League schools, who never had a job in their life.
They're not coming
And-
from Harvard, okay?
Wherever they're coming
They-
from, and they're yicky-yakking about all of these different models that they're gonna put together. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
No question about it. No question about it.
And in the real world, it doesn't work. Now, let me give you another one that just came out today. They say that the probability of you, me, or anybody else out there contracting or getting the virus outdoors is about 10%.
They don't know.
Wait a second. They said 10%. Then they revised it. This, well, 10% may be an exaggeration. You know what it went down to? It went down to 1%. And you know what? They happened from 1% and went down to 0.1%. In other words, it's almost virtually impossible for you to catch the virus if you're outdoors. So why are people wearing masks? If all of these things are correct, can you trust science anymore? Do you trust science?
That's not the issue. The issue
What's the
is
issue?
this is a brand new variable in the world. We've
Yeah.
never had it before. We've never experienced it before, and we don't know what it's gonna be, okay? Because let me ask you a question.
Mhm, you may.
Every year you go for a shot for the common cold or the flu.
Yeah.
How often are we gonna need a shot for the coronavirus? And how long is it gonna last?
Well, if you have to get a shot every year, it doesn't last more than a year, right?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know. And we don't know how long this virus inoculation vaccine, whatever you want to call it.
Nobody know. There's no
Right.
one that you could ask. that
And
could
we
really
have
tell.
no idea what the effect, long-term effect is going to be on the body thereafter, right?
Amen.
Okay, so the fact that a large percentage of people now are refusing to get it actually makes sense. In
Well,
other words, if you take somebody, I love my daughter, I love all my kids dearly. One of my daughters has health problems. And she looked at me the other day and says, Daddy, I can't get the shot. I said, why do you say that? She says, because of my immune system is such that this could really cause me a lot of trouble.
she might be right.
And I said, God bless you.
Yeah, she might be right. We don't know. Here's the thing. Every night on TV, where they have the science report from the national news, they have this guy talking. He doesn't know.
I know he doesn't know.
So what's he talking for?
I have no idea. This is the problem. You know, all I heard for 4 years.
The best example is if you're driving down the street on a dead end street where it stops and there's a big drop off
Yeah.
the mountain, and a guy is standing in front that's never been down again and says, everything's okay. How the hell does he know? He's never been down the end of the road. It's the same thing. It's a stupid example, but it's the way it is. Nobody knows. Read my lips. Nobody knows.
The last person
They-
that said that, you know.
They scared people into getting
Well, that's the thing that
vaccinations.
bothers me. Why are we predicating running government on fear?
Well, that's the way it works.
Why should it work? Why does it work
Because
like
that's
that?
the way it works. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Okay.
Is death certain?
In most cases, yes.
Okay.
In most cases.
I mean,
yes.
Jesus was an
There are
exception.
some people who are too mean to die. They're living just to cause us aggravation.
And they kick it, they stay around.
Okay.
So if death is certain, then how can you eliminate it?
Well, what they're saying is you don't want to go before your allotted time.
But nobody knows when you're supposed to. There's
Well,
no guarantee on that, my friend.
Listen, I told you, I got a friend of mine who's about 10 years younger than I am. He's mad as hell I got a vaccine. I got a vaccination.
Because he figured that what?
That I'm going to die from it.
He may be right.
I don't know.
We're going to die from something. But here's the whole point. I don't understand, you know, well, let me fast forward to another similar type of topic here. I noted that a lot of people, particularly Rand Paul, who's a senator from Kentucky, had a real go at with Dr. Fauci yesterday about the fact that apparently Dr. Fauci used federal money to subsidize the laboratory and research lab in Wuhan, China, in which the virus came from. Are you aware of that?
Well, he's probably taking money under the table.
I tend to think that.
I have a feeling that this virus made him a very wealthy man.
Well, there's no question in my mind about that.
Okay. I have a feeling this virus made a lot of people very wealthy that weren't very
Do
wealthy.
you know that he's the highest paid civil servant in the United States?
Why should that shock me?
He makes more than the president of the United States.
Why should that shock me?
What are you saying?
I'm not surprised.
It's amazing though, isn't it?
Okay.
So, and there's no accountability.
What
He
are,
is revered.
what are they going to do to him when he's proven wrong? Throw him in jail?
No. But what did they do to anybody that even was closely associated with Donald Trump? Not only did they throw him in jail, they put him in solitary confinement. Paul Manafort and Roger Stone and General Flynn, and I can go down a whole host of them, they were badly, badly treated. And yet Hunter Biden gets gigs at the University of Tulane University. He writes books now. You know, what's it, Simon and Schuster? That
Really?
Yeah. Then he write a book. He went on a book tour. You know what the name of his book was?
What?
Beautiful Things.
Really?
Yeah. So there is some strange paradigms, whatever you want to call them, going on. Troubling. So I want to ask you, because I noted, and this was a sad situation, there was this young girl who had joined the armed forces. She wanted to serve her country. She was about 20 years old. And she was like an MP, you know, at the guide where you check credentials for pass by. And a woman came up to her and Mideastern garb. and pulled,
A knife,
no, not a knife, pulled whatever you pull, like
a bomb?
and blew herself up and killed that woman.
When did this happen?
It happened recently.
Never heard of it.
And
Although I don't watch, I stopped watching the news
No, I know.
many years
the
ago.
reason why I bring it up is because you've been spending a number of years writing a story that has a similar
Yeah,
incident.
yeah, I'm on the last 20 pages of a rewrite.
So tell me, you had to get permission to write the story.
Well, I didn't need to get permission. I needed to tell someone that I'm doing something that along the lines of what her daughter did, and I'm not going to embarrass her.
And but you did get tacit or what?
She didn't say yes, she didn't say no.
That's tacit,
Okay.
right? But you had the courtesy, you gave her the courtesy of telling her what you were going to write.
Well, I used her for first name. I didn't use her last name. I used her for first name.
Okay, but this is a factual story. This is an actual event.
Well, it's not a factual story in the way I told the story.
No, I didn't say that.
It's
The
a
event.
factual story that there was a girl named Wafa that did this.
And what you were trying to do is get into the mind, the psyche of what motivates somebody to do such a thing.
And as I got into the mind, I said to myself, it's not as complicated as I thought it would be. It's actually
Seriously?
it's very simple. You are a product of your environment.
So you're programmed.
Basically, to be frank with you, I'm surprised more people in her environment don't do it.
A lot more than you think do.
Okay.
We're going to cut this short this week because both of us have an engagement to go to. So let me ask this here. I love stream of consciousness and Life on the Fast Lane. Are you aware of that? Huh? You are? You figure that one out?
The thing of it is that right now in our society, I feel sorry for young people because do they have a bright, sunny future? I don't know.
I was speaking to a friend of mine's wife.
Things are crazy in the world. The world now is a mess of chaos.
Yeah.
And the worst thing about chaos is you don't know where it is, where it stops, where it ends, what's in the middle, what's up on top, what's down below. It's because there's no, it's like an egg. There's no starting point.
That's why they call it chaos.
Yeah.
You're a bright man, you know that?
Okay.
To get back to the friend of mine's wife who I was speaking to, who has her own very serious health problems, and she's such a trooper. I respect her so much. Mentioned that a visiting daughter, a very sweetheart of a girl, noted that both she and her father, her mother and her father, were watching Fox News, and she went spastic. She couldn't believe that her parents were watching Fox News. I mean, that was the mindset when you're talking about young people and the way they think today. You and I may disagree with somebody. You just mentioned a little while back that you're what'd you say, a benign racist or something?
A polite racist.
A polite racist. In effect, what you're saying is that, hey, I may not like you, but live your life.
He went overboard, Biden, in hiring minorities. He filled the ranks with hiring minorities, and that doesn't make them capable or capable.
But not only that, he also loaded up with folks who are, I don't want to use.
That's what he did, but
but I'm talking about why would you just because a person's transgender, you put them in head and as a number 2 in health and human services.
No, transportation. What the
No, that he wasn't transgender, he's gay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No. By the way, I don't have a problem with people's sexual orientation, the rest of it, but you don't put people there for that sake, for that
Well,
reason.
that's what he did.
I know that. I mean, your competency is the thing that matters. So when Jimmy Kimmel turns around, he takes a swipe at Caitlyn Jenner and calls Caitlyn Jenner a-hole, right? Well, Jimmy Kimmel better watch out because Caitlyn Jenner is still capable of beating the living crap out of him any day of the week, right? Seriously. And, I give Caitlyn Jenner some credit for having the plums, a play on words, right? No longer, to transitionalize at her age and at her point in time.
Can you believe that this girl used to be Bruce Jenner that won the decathlon.
Exactly, yeah.
The
I mean,
triathlon.
and a guy, and
You know something? I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should do that.
you got a beard.
I'll
You have
shave.
to shave your beard.
I'll shave.
Let me ask you something. You think Bruce Jenner gets confused or what, on Mother's Day, Father's Day, which one that's it, he or she celebrate?
But you
Both?
see, can I be frank with you?
Yeah.
When I say I'm a polite racist, I wouldn't even discuss these things. There is no need to discuss him or her.
Well, let me go to
Okay.
another one. Can I go to
There
another
is
one?
no need to discuss the alphabet, LBGDQC, the FBBZ. They just couldn't put one letter there, D. Different. Okay, they're different.
And there's nothing wrong with different.
Who cares?
Different, exactly. You know, Anheuser-Busch, and I don't drink beer. Looks like I do, but I don't. They just came out with this thing called woke gender, whatever.
What?
They came out with a woke gender unicorn.
What does that?
I don't know, but that's what they came out with. Now, did it ever occur to the people at Anheuser-Busch, if you did a demographic study, a market study, would you say maybe that more men drink beer than women?
I don't, probably, yeah. I was thinking to myself, hold on for 1 second. If I was to be, have a new sex change operation, I could eat a lobster roll,
You could.
but I couldn't afford it.
So anyway, the point being is, if more men drink beer
Yeah.
than women, I don't think men are tuned into, woke gender unicorns, and so they're killing their own market.
You see, how did this all take place? It's very simple. The marketing division came up to the boss and said, look, we need to expand our horizons. We've gone as far as we could with who's buying our beer. Now we need more people.
So they're saying, well, maybe we can tap into the female market.
That's
Is that what you're
the
telling
way
me?
it goes.
But if you
There
lose,
was a-
if you
there-
lose
there-
so much of your
there
steady
was-
market, isn't that crazy?
They don't think that will happen.
Well, that's because they did not go, well, they probably did go to Harvard Business School and learned all the wrong things.
Maybe yes and maybe no.
Well, I'll tell you what, my father went to the 3rd grade. He didn't go to Harvard Business School. He became president of his
I
own
would
company.
ask your father for advice before I'd ask one of those people for advice. Okay, your father went to work every day and supported a friggin' family. Okay, and if things got tough, he still showed up for work every fucking day. Okay.
Let me put it this way. My father, in Sicilian, there's a word that means donkey. It's called shekel.
Circle.
You like shekel?
There's a word in Jewish, it means ass. Okay.
So he would say, io, meaning I. Io sono un shekel. He said, I am a donkey. I work 7 days a week, 7 days a week, 18 hours a day. And you know what? He did.
But he did it.
He did it.
He did it. But at the same time, how was he able to do it? Because he saw his kids. That was the fruit of his endeavor. That's what got him out of bed in the morning. He did not need an alarm clock.
That's right. Not only that, he never took a nickel from the state.
They didn't have it in those days.
And they did very well. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, let me, which brings me to this area. They're arguing, and think about this. I mean, makes such common sense, it drives me nuts. If you pay people more not to work than to work, why would they work?
Well, you see, now what's happening is it's going backwards. Because what they've done is they've totally killed the work
incentive, right,
in these people, okay, which is a very serious thing.
Yes, and they did that for control purposes. Is that correct?
No, I think
they get the vote.
That's why they did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I take a look at that, and then I have Joe Biden said that there is no evidence. He said this categorically yesterday, that there is no evidence that paying people not to work has affected the job numbers.
Well, his mind is soft, okay? Okay, it's gonna be ridiculous. They can't find help.
There are 8.1 million jobs unfilled in this country today.
But those are the jobs nobody wants.
Well,
if somebody called you on the phone and said, I have a job for you, I want you to go into my backyard and I want you to shovel all the dirt every day, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. You're going to show up for work?
Not unless my name is Jose.
Well, okay, Jose has no choice.
Jose does it. though,
Jose
doesn't
has
he?
no choice.
But Jose does it,
Jose's
and
got
I
a
give him all
lot,
the credit. in the
Jose's
world.
got a lot of mouths to feed.
You know who else did that?
Who's that?
Salvatore.
You know who else did that? My grandfather. had-
That's like my
oh,
point, you know,
okay.
so it's got nothing to do with
You see,
ethnicity, does it?
my grandfather came to this country, he was a tailor. And every day he and his brother went to work as a tailor. And then after about 30 years, they had about 75 tailors that worked for them. They manufactured men's suits. See, there's no quick road to success,
No, of course there isn't.
okay?
No,
But a lot of people look for that road and they waste their whole lives trying to find that road because they never got on the highway in the first place.
that's why they sell lottery tickets.
Basically, yes. The whole mentality of a lottery ticket is the easiest way I know of with what I have going for me to try to make some money.
Exactly.
And as long as you believe that, you're going to keep on buying them.
We talked about this in our last show. If you were to sell lottery tickets, you're not gonna sell them in Brookline.
You'll sell them, but not like.
No, you're gonna sell them in depressed areas.
Basically, yes. As a matter of fact, when I had some people come in from out of town 2 weeks ago, and we went to areas in the banking business to talk to people, and we were in towns in a million years I never heard of. What did I do in those towns? I bought a lottery ticket.
And what happened?
Because those towns always win. Okay, towns I never friggin' heard of, never know where they are, they win.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, stop the car right now. I went into this gas station and I bought a lottery ticket.
I noticed you have a hole in your dungarees. Apparently you lost.
Can I say one thing? I wear torn pants and I wear a lot of torn clothes, and I have a very good reason for it, okay?
Well,
Economically speaking, number one, if they get dirty, I don't need to dry clean them. Number two, I don't need them pressed or whatever, and thank you very much, okay? And I enjoy the way I look because no one asked me for anything.
Avram, I think you said that you had to go somewhere.
Well, it's just that I have a dog that lets me know at 4 o'clock she has to eat. And
That's it at 4?
She just, wherever she's in the house, comes in, plops herself right in front of me and looks at me, stares me in the face, and I can read her.
You know, it's as you know, I have a dog, a greyhound. It's the size of an aircraft carrier, and it's amazing. And I get better food for my dog than I do for myself.
I have a special. Her vet told me it's expensive, but I think your dog, most golden retrievers, she told me, have very sensitive stomachs, and even with very expensive dog food, it's not good for them. There's a special medicated brand which you have to order it, and you need a special pass. And if you order it on Amazon, they have to call the vet to make sure it's okay to send it to them. And she licks the bowl. She hasn't had diarrhea in 8 months, and she was having it all the time. And I was buying really good stuff, okay? Because I worry about her. I don't want her to be sorry that we met.
I remember when you went and got that dog. You were looking and looking and looking. You fell in love immediately.
I got that dog. She was 2 months old. She could fit in the palm of my hand, and she would start to wake up and cry about 2 o'clock. I didn't sleep for the first 4 months for about 2
I
hours.
remember.
I was walking around, falling asleep, standing up. But we've gotten to know each other, and I can tell that she knows that I'm all right. I'm not her enemy, because she can now sleep through the whole friggin' night. I have to actually wake her up.
Well, let me ask you, did she get down by your side when you're writing?
That's exactly why I did it. I completed this whole complete story, the first draft, in 6 weeks.
Because of her
Yeah,
being there.
yeah,
You're absolutely right.
seriously.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked you.
And if I would get up, it's almost as if she'd say, don't, like, and I didn't go.
Keep
for
going, keep
I
going
went to the
forward.
men's room.
Yeah. They're special things, aren't they? And I never liked dogs.
Oh, I loved them my whole entire life. I can't stand cat. I hate cats. I have not gone
You
in
hate
relationships.
cats, you can't dislike them. You have to hate them.
I can't stand them. I really don't. You walk into a house and you can tell immediately that house has a cat.
You can smell them.
Yeah. You have a dog? No.
Not necessarily. Some dogs have.
Well, not my dog.
Yeah.
My dog goes to a spa every 8 weeks. She has
Oh, you take it to the spa
She
the whole
has her
bit?
nails done.
Yeah.
She has a bath. She puts on certain things so she doesn't get any ticks or anything like that. They put ribbons in her hair. It's really very nice.
She's really a jack.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This coming August, she'll be 2 years old.
Imagine.
And I really can't wait until I get more money into my pocket to buy a home with a lot of property. I need property
Why is that?
because I want her have her and then have another dog also. Had I had a big backyard when I went to get the dog, I would have gotten one of her siblings also. But it's just not possible,
Interesting.
you know?
So this play has a double purpose.
Oh, yeah, I have enough backing right now that I don't need anybody. As long as the young lady next door, and I don't think she would lie to me. I even told this to my husband, this is unbelievably very good. I said, okay, dear, that's why I gave her an extra bonus, and I'll probably give her more, only because I said to her, don't lose your enthusiasm.
My understanding is,
I can tell that she's working.
well, let me put it to you this way. I had occasion to have a word with her. I wasn't necessarily interested in you, but she was telling me how much she enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and doing it.
That's
and I'm somewhat familiar with your work. And we said, and we haven't done it yet,
what's that?
we got to bring your music over.
Yeah, let me say.
Because I can play the music on
Yeah.
that computer and the folks can listen.
Technically speaking, besides myself, she's the only other person that has actually seen this story in print. The minute it's done, which is another 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks at the most, I told her to print out 3 copies, one for me, one up on the shelf so I can send it out. And number 3, I'm going to give you a copy
Really?
to read it. Yeah. And you'll tell me, and you'll be honest. I believe in my heart of hearts, it's not bad. And I have enough money behind me that I can go into Broadway, rent the whole Fish Drunken Theater, even run the concession stand.
Well, let me ask.
Because I'll tell you why. I've got friends of mine who have been stuck with me for 30 odd years when I first started this venture that have been really struggling. I had a lot of capital behind me, so I always could put food on my table. They could not. I want them to get a break.
Avram, I got a big kick out of Avram did some really cute little videos, play off of Humphrey Bogart, played against
Oh,
Sam.
that's what I had to do with that. That was my entrance exam into the film school in England.
Really?
Yeah.
And then he did one that was hilarious about, where your arms got stuck. And you were one of the officers. I didn't realize it.
That's a full-length feature film in Scandinavia, which is played all the time and sends me a check.
Oh, that was a funny story.
I used to, but in my old age, I'm not funny anymore. I'm like very serious. You know what I'm saying? I got to get funny again, but I've had too much trouble come my way.
No, you are funny.
Yeah.
You're naturally funny. You're more than funny. Being able, one of the great qualities I find in folks of your ethnicity is that they have a sense of humor.
Yeah, you have no choice.
You keep telling me that they have no choice.
You have no choice. Look at, I'm going to be 71 years old next month, and I still have all my hair, and I look like hell.
Actually, you look pretty good.
If my mother came back to planet Earth and saw the way I look right now with my torn pants and my beard, she would break every bone in my body.
She was a big influence on your life, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Every Jewish mother is a big influence on their life. Okay.
How long ago did she pass?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have the prayer services lining up and Memorial Day weekend. It'll be 15 years. I can't believe it.
And she was 90 some odd.
She was just short of her 90th birthday. Yeah.
Good life.
Yeah, she had a good marriage. My parents were married 52 years. I used to tell my friends, I don't recall my parents ever arguing. No, seriously. My grandparents were married 64 years. And I remember my grandfather telling me, may he rest in peace, that he hoped he died before my grandmother. I said, Grandpa, we talk like that because I couldn't be here without her.
Yeah, that's true. By the way,
that's what he was saying. I couldn't live without her.
Yeah. So you grew up in a glorious time.
Yeah, and I've gone through more girlfriends you can shake a stick at, and I wouldn't ask any of them for a letter of recommendation. I can assure you right now. On that note, shalom.
Life on the fast.
See you next week. You know something? This was a great show.